Hi, I'm Ty Zeller, and this is my informational speech. The book I read is The Spirit Catches You When You Fall Down. This is a story about Lee, who lives in California and is a part of the Hmong culture. She is one of 13 children, and unlike the others, she was born in a hospital. At 3 months old, she experiences her first seizure, and her parents believe it's because her sister slammed the door on her. Lee's parents take her to the hospital, but because of the Hmong culture, they don't believe that Western medicine actually works. So when they arrive to the hospital, because of the language barrier, the doctors really have no idea what's going on. So it's not until they actually take Lee in mid seizure that the doctors understand what's going on and they diagnose her with epilepsy. They, they then go home, and the doctors see that Lee is not following the proper medical procedures, and it becomes clear that the language barrier is becoming a huge barrier. And a huge part of the story is that the Hmong culture doesn't believe in Western medicine, and that actually works. So the nurse actually pays a visit and discovers that Lee is not only failing to administer the proper medicine, but they're actually giving too much, double the amount that they should be giving. So if they continue to take care of Lee in this manner, they're going to have some significant damage to the brain, which could even cause death. But Lee's parents don't believe that. They think that it's all the doctor's fault, it's all the hospital's fault, and they don't think they're doing anything wrong. So Lee was only given about 4 more weeks to live, so she comes back to the family to be with the family for the last 4 weeks because they expect her to die. And then it cuts to the doctor meeting with the family 2 years after that, and she is still alive because the Hmong culture is basically practicing animal sacrifices in the name of calling her soul back to her body, which really challenges us to think beyond of what we know about human health and healing, to open our minds to cultures and cultural beliefs that are vastly different from our own. Some intersections in power in this book are ethnicity. She is Hmong, social economic status, lower class, and the disability of epilepsy. Going back to ethnicity, in today's society, just because of our ethnicity, we maybe think that we have more power over others. As white Americans, we may seem like we're always right, and that's completely false. Should not base people off of our ethnicity at all. Social economic status, lower class, maybe more rich or wealthy people believe they're on top of the pyramid, that they're looking down at everyone else, and that's not right. Disability. Lee had epilepsy, and people with a disability should not be looked down upon, and that's something that needs to be changed. Everyone's the same no matter what, and what we look like. Research article I did, so this was pretty interesting. It was about a girl that remembers attending school and community events where military veterans were asked to stand up and be recognized for their service to the country. Her dad was very hesitant to do this. He fought in the war, and he think that the ideas that everyone else in the room was at a higher power just because he was not Hmong. And another example shows that how one culture can perceive the others. Although I bet that most people in the room wouldn't have even cared, just the idea that he was different made him not want to stand up at all. Social media research. So I found a lot of interesting information. Surprisingly, Minnesota and Wisconsin ranked second and third for most Hmong people, with most of them around the Twin Cities area. Hmong people were actually drawn to Minnesota by the employment opportunities and the access to housing and welfare benefits, showing that up here in the Midwest, there are lots of different cultures and we need to be inclusive and be aware of what we're saying and doing. Now there are a lot of Hmong organizations, including the Hmong Cultural Center, which is a nonprofit that uses art and education to promote positive race relations in the Twin Cities community, which is great. And I believe that the Hmong culture is doing, what the Hmong culture is doing in Minnesota is pretty positive and is taking the right steps in diversifying each other and getting rid of the ideas that one culture has more power than the other. And that's my speech. Thanks.